Okay, let's dive into this really powerful story from a traditional Buddhist sermon. It's a story that explores the hidden and sometimes pretty shocking consequences of our actions, and it takes us into a world that exists just beyond what we can see.
So the sermon kicks things off with this wild idea that the world around us is just teeming with unseen beings, spirits from past human lives. Apparently, there are so many that if we could actually see them, we'd barely find a place to even put our foot down. And it's right there in that invisible realm that our story gets started.
In this unseen world, we meet a fascinating being known as a Bana. You could call her a celestial ghost. And at first glance, she is living in absolute bliss. But as we're about to see, her paradise has a very, very dark secret.
I mean, just picture this life. She's got this magnificent celestial mansion. She's walking on golden sand. There are ponds filled with blooming lotuses. The air itself smells sweet and divine, and she has 500 female attendants catering to her every whim. It is, by all accounts, a total paradise.
But this idyllic life, this picture-perfect existence, is hiding a terrifying and totally inescapable secret. And that secret comes roaring to life the second night falls. Yeah, every single night, without fail, her paradise completely transforms into a scene of unimaginable horror. And this isn't random. It is the very specific price she is paying for a sin from a past life. And here's the brutal, unbreakable cycle. Every night at midnight, she's drawn to a pond. A monstrous dog with these distinct cropped ears comes out of the dark. It attacks her, tears her body to pieces, and eats her flesh until there's nothing left but a skeleton. Her bones are thrown into the pond, and poof, she's instantly reborn, completely whole again, only to go back to her mansion and wait for it to happen all over again the next night. So what could she possibly have done to deserve something so specific and so awful?
Well, as the sermon explains, this isn't some random cosmic cruelty. Her suffering is the direct, precise result of her own actions in a past life. This is a chilling, perfect example of karma, that universal law of cause and effect, where every single action creates a result.
So here's how it all went down. In her human life, she committed a single act of adultery, okay? But then, when her husband confronted her, she lied. And to make that lie even more convincing, she swore a false oath, basically a curse on herself. So after she died, that lie and that very specific curse became her new reality. Just think about that for a second. With those exact words, she literally wrote the script for her own future suffering. While she was denying what she did, she apparently pointed to a nearby dog with cropped ears and sealed her own fate. She created the very punishment she now has to endure every single night. And it doesn't stop there. The sermon adds this other crazy detail. Her friends, the ones who helped her lie to her husband, well, they were also bound by their false words. They swore that if they were lying, they would become her slaves. And that's exactly what happened. They were reborn as her 500 attendants, karmically tied to her bizarre, tormented existence.
And this nightly horror wasn't a short-term punishment. This went on night after night for 700 years. It's just a stark, terrifying reminder of how long the consequences of one single moment of deception can echo through time.
As horrifying as her story is, the sermon then kind of zooms out to show us something even more shocking. Her 700-year nightmare is just one tiny piece of a much larger, much more terrifying cycle. And this brings us to the idea of samsara, this endless wheel of birth, death, and rebirth, driven by our actions and our attachments.
Now, to really help us grasp the sheer scale of samsara, we get another story. This one's about a queen named Umbari, and her grief over the death of her husband, King Brahmadatta, is so intense that she just cannot bring herself to leave his burial site.
So as she's weeping, this wise sage with supernatural powers shows up. He sees her sorrow and asks her a question that is designed to just completely shatter her view of reality. He says, "In this exact spot, 84,000 kings, all named Brahmadatta, have been buried. Which one are you crying for?"
And this is the moment of shocking clarity. The sage reveals that not only have 84,000 kings with that name been buried there, but she has been the queen to every single one of them. Her unique, soul-crushing tragedy is actually a recurring pattern. She's been trapped in this cycle of attachment and loss for ages. Her grief isn't a one-time thing, it's a habit of samsara.
So why does all this matter? I mean, why are we told these terrifying stories about karmic punishment and endless cycles? Well, the point isn't just to scare us. It's actually to empower us. It's about getting a deeper understanding of how reality works so we can finally take conscious action and start to break these painful cycles.
You see, the core message here, believe it or not, is one of hope. The purpose of these teachings, the Dharma, isn't to make you feel guilty or dwell on past mistakes. It's a roadmap for right now. The idea is that by understanding these laws of cause and effect, karma and samsara, we get the wisdom we need to correct our path today. And that is the absolute first step to freedom. So really, this ancient wisdom gives us a clear, actionable guide. It teaches that every action, every word, every thought is planting a seed for your future. But, and this is so important, it also tells us it's never too late to change course. The key is to let go of regret for past mistakes, to loosen that tight grip of attachment that causes so much suffering, and to focus all our energy on wisdom and kindness, right here, right now.
And that brings us to the final thought. These epic stories, of celestial ghosts and grieving queens, they aren't just ancient myths. They're like mirrors, reflecting a fundamental truth about existence. And they force us to ask ourselves a really powerful question. If one seemingly small lie can create centuries of torment, what kind of reality are we building for ourselves with the choices we're making every single day?